to Phuket. And what we can confirm right now is that Goa police, in the investigation that they have carried out, they say that this was planned immediately after the fire actually broke out. Now, they have in custody Ajay Gupta, I beg your pardon, Ajay Gupta, who happens to be accused number 3 in this case, and they are essentially going to focus on whether at all Ajay Gupta was aware that following the fire that broke out, that they had decided to leave the country and the intention was to escape from India. Something that has been contested by the Lutra brothers in the court. In the anticipatory bail plea, they say that they had gone for a business trip. In fact, what we are also picking up is that once they had checked into the hotel, they had also given the reason as a business trip. This was a business trip that they had taken up. In fact, the cover essentially being that they have partners, business partners in Thailand, and given the fact that they have received local help in the past, that is one of the reasons why they had chosen Thailand as a destination to be there. And it was far easier to travel to Thailand because of the e-visa that is basically given to Indians, an visa which is on arrival. So that makes it much more simpler for the Lutra brothers to be there.
Absolutely, Shravan. In fact, another update that we are picking up right now is that anticipatory bail hearing of the Lutras is currently underway. In fact, the Goa government has said this in court that Lutras cannot claim that they did not run the club. Also joining me live is my colleague Shambhavi. Shambhavi, what we are coming to know as of now is that the anticipatory bail of the Lutra brothers is currently underway. The Goa government has made it very, very clear that the Lutras cannot claim that they did not run the club, and that they have also shown documents to prove ownership of the Lutras. What are the other updates that you're picking up on your end? Shambhavi.
So basically now what is happening, just to let our viewers know, there were 3-4 major points which were made from the Lutra brothers' end yesterday when there were arguments going on. The first argument which was made was that they went to Thailand for business purpose, for business engagement, and for looking at prospective restaurant sites. Now that is being countered by the Goa's council, the state of Goa's council, where they're saying that this was not some business engagement, because when you look at the timing of the ticket booking, this incident happened somewhat around 11:15, 11:30, and they woke up in the middle of the night at 11:15, booked a ticket at 1:15, booked a ticket at 1:17 a.m. and then left. So now, one by one, the council for the state of Goa is countering the arguments which were made by the Lutra brothers' council. Another argument which was made by the Goa's council was that when the Goa police reached the Lutra brothers' resident at Delhi, they met their mother and his wife, and the mother and the sister, and both of them, they said that they have zero idea where the brothers are. So this does not seem to be like a prior business engagement. This is the latest update which is coming in. The hearing is going on in the court right now, and the council for the state of Goa is currently arguing the matter. Back to you.
Well, absolutely, Shambhavi. In fact, the hearing has now begun on the anticipatory plea of the Lutra brothers. In fact, we were just showing our viewers the pictures, the first visuals that were coming in of the hotel where the Lutra brothers fled to, the hotel where they stayed after they landed in Phuket. And now it is safe to say that the end game is very, very near, 72 hours, and the free run ends for Lutra brothers here, Shambhavi.
Right, and they're also making argument. As you can see, we are constantly getting update about the argument that the Council for State of Goa is making. They've made another very strong argument, because stating that both these brothers, they wanted to evade arrest. They wanted to evade the non-bailable warrant which was issued against them, and that was the reason. They were fearing arrest, and that was the reason why they fled. Because yesterday, several times, very strong argument was raised by the Lutra brothers' end, saying that they did not evade arrest. Their intention was not to flee from the country. Their intention was not to abscond. They just went there on prior business engagement. This was their strongest argument, one of the most major arguments. And they even said that they want to assist in the investigation. The Lutra brothers, if at all they get the anticipatory bail, they would have come yesterday night itself, and they want to be an assistance in the entire investigation, and they can be taken in custody, but in aid of the investigation and not as accused in the case, because they are not to be blamed. Now, another very important argument which is being made right now by the Council for Goa, State of Goa, is that there were some arguments made regarding the licensee of the club. They were said that we were just the license holders. We do not manage the operations of the club, so we are not to be blamed in this entire matter. Now, the Council for State of Goa is breaking the argument one by one. They have showed each and every license. Now, when we can show our viewers that they are showing the license agreement on which the name of Saurabh Lutra is present. Then there is another license, FSSAI license, in which the name of Saurabh Lutra is present. There is another Pollution Control Board license in which the name of Saurabh Lutra is present. So several crucial licenses which a club or a hotel is required for a club to run legally. The licenses are under the name of Saurabh Lutra. So another argument is being countered by the respondents currently. Right. Back to you.
Right. In fact, you very correctly pointed out how the Goa government is saying that the pollution board license was applied by Saurabh Lutra. In fact, they've also said, the Goa government has also said that even GST license under Saurabh, Gaurav and Ajay Gupta was also applied. So these are some of these arguments that are being made by the Goa government here, Shambhavi.
Right, and again, another very important thing has been said. They say that people are dying, property is burning, and you flee the country. That is what is being said in the argument right now, that people, 25 people, now just to let our viewers know, 25 people have lost their lives. 20 were the staff of the club itself, and 5 were the tourists who were present in the building. Several important license or NOC which was required by a club, the club did not have. The club did not have a fire NOC. Several people who tried to escape from the fire from the floor reached the basement but died by suffocation because there was no proper ventilation in the basement as well as in the first floor. So this issue that you are now denying to take accountability, you're denying to take any kind of responsibility of this matter, and now you flee. So people dying, your property is burning, you do not care about everything. Just a couple of hours later, you book a flight for Thailand at 1:17 a.m. and then you flee from the country.
Well, absolutely, Shambhavi, absolutely. And just like we were just telling our viewers, the end game is very, very near for the Lutra brothers. They fled India. They fled, they were afraid of being arrested. They fled to Phuket. And now, in fact, we just showed our viewers the hotel where the Lutras were hiding. Now, the Royal Thai Police has tracked down the brothers to the hotel and they have taken them into custody. So it's safe to say here, viewers, that law is catching up to them, and the law is catching up to them fast. In fact, the deportation process is also in the fray. The Indian embassy officials are coordinating with the Thai authorities to initiate the deportation process. The Indian government has, in fact, suspended the Lutra brothers' passport, making their stay in Thailand illegal. In fact, Interpol has also issued a blue corner notice against the brothers, facilitating their detention. Ladies and gentlemen, remember the Lutra brothers had booked their flight to Phuket after the deadly fire that broke out, and it claimed the lives of 25 people in the Birch Club. The law is now catching up to them, and we'll be tracking the story very, very closely. For now, viewers, these are the latest updates that are coming in. The anticipatory bail hearing is also underway. And meanwhile, the Indian embassy officials are very, very closely coordinating with the Thai authorities to initiate the deportation process. All right, in fact, let me also quickly put out some other details that are coming in. Ladies and gentlemen, the brothers, the Lutra brothers, have been detained from the hotel room, the pictures of which are on your screens. In fact, the Lutra brothers, Gaurav and Saurabh's identity has also been verified. The Lutra brothers, they have been detained in Phuket, Thailand by the Royal Thai Police, and the Royal Thai Police is in fact acting on the blue corner notice that was issued by the Interpol. Now, this notice was prompted by the Indian law enforcement request. The brothers are accused of involvement in a deadly nightclub fire in Goa that killed 25 people. In fact, there are some key developments that are also coming in. The Lutra brothers were detained at a resort in Phuket, and they are currently being held at the immigration center. All right, on the other side, we continue to get you these minute-by-minute updates. The deportation process has, in fact, is set to begin. The Indian embassy officials have reached the immigration center. We'll be tracking this and a lot more. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
आधे बाउल दही में 4 चम्मच MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला डाला, स्टर करो, पुदीना चटनी तैयार। MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला। MDH
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूम देखो मतवारा हुआ रे, केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
आर प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो, मिलाओ और खाओ।
8 मिनट में तैयार।
क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला।
अब छोलिया हो या लोबिया, सफेद चने या काले चने,
सब कुछ मजेदार बने।
भाई मेरा बेटी को प्यार चाहिए, प्यार। मेरा बेटी का ब्लड आ रहा, ब्लड नीचे से ब्लड आ रहा, प्यार चाहिए, दे दो। क्यों नहीं कर सकता? क्यों नहीं कर सकता? क्यों नहीं कर सकता? मेरे को प्यार चाहिए।
Soon enough, we ended up trying out creating a 4-rotor flying aircraft, what we popularly call quadrotors today. And we thought we had invented something new that no one has ever done before.
But was it done before?
Yes. A few companies in the US.
Which year would that be?
2003, 2004 is when we were doing it.
You didn't know of the ones that were done in America, don't you? No. Really?
Yes.
So you were like doing it with the spirit of invention.
Yes.
This is a pure 3 Idiot story going on here, by the way. Huh? You see the parallels?
Yes, yes.
Our pure Shahi Paneer Masala. Delicious, healthy, every day.
In the India Today Best Universities Survey, India's #1 ranked universities in various streams are JNU Delhi, Amity University, AIMS Delhi, IIT Delhi, and National Law School Bengaluru.
MDH की हल्दी मिर्ची धनिया करे कमाल, ये रंग दे, ये खुशबू दे, ये तीखा, ये कम पड़े, क्या निराला MDH मसाला।
It's endgame for Lutra brothers duo detained by Thailand. In Thailand by Royal Thai Police. First pictures on Republic. Passport suspended, duo detained. Lutra brothers deportation process initiated from Thailand. Delhi court to resume hearing Lutra's anticipatory bail this afternoon. Amid winter session, e-cigarette scandal breaks out inside Parliament. BJP MP Anurag Thakur accuses TMC MP of smoking e-cigarette in Lok Sabha. Devendra Fadnavis issues statement on Pawar land scam, says government and police not shielding anyone. Ladies and gentlemen, the anticipatory bail plea of the Lutra brothers has begun. The end game is very, very near, ladies and gentlemen. 72 hours and the free run ends for the Lutra brothers who flee to Phuket. In fact, just a short while ago, we played the visuals, the first visuals coming on Republic TV. We played the visuals where they were hiding in Phuket, the hotel where they were hiding. And right now, what we're coming to know is that the hearing has begun on the anticipatory plea of Lutra brothers. The Lutra brothers in court, they traveled to Phuket on work is what they are claiming. Goa government in court is also saying that the Lutras can't claim they did not run the club. The Goa government has in fact shown the documents to prove the ownership of Lutras. Goa government has also stated that FSSAI license was applied by Saurabh Lutra. These are some of the details that we are picking up, ladies and gentlemen. On your screens are the first visuals coming in. Republic is playing these exclusive visuals. This is the hotel where the Lutras hid after they landed in Phuket, after they fled India. And this was right after the deadly fire that broke out in the Birch nightclub that unfortunately claimed the lives of 25 people. All right, these are some of the details that we are picking up. Those are the first visuals of the Lutra brothers being detained from the hotel room, the same hotel room, the visuals of which we just played. In fact, Gaurav and Saurabh, the two Lutra brothers, their identity has also been verified. These are some of the details that we are picking up, ladies and gentlemen. They were detained at Hotel Indigo in Patong Beach, Phuket, Thailand. They had, in fact, checked into room 345. These are some of these details that we are picking up. They claimed that it was a business trip, but in reality, they were actually fleeing India after the deadly nightclub fire at the Birch Club in Romeo Lane nightclub in Goa that killed 25 people. And right now, the recent most update is that the Royal Thai Police have detained them at the hotel. In fact, the Indian embassy officials are very, very closely working with the Thai authorities to send them back to India. So deportation is on the cards, ladies and gentlemen. In fact, India has, what we are also coming to know is that India has suspended their passports, making their Thailand stay illegal. Ladies and gentlemen, all right. Ladies and gentlemen, the hearing has begun on the anticipatory bail plea of the Lutra brothers. And in 72 hours, their free run ends. In fact, we have been tracking the story very, very closely. We played the first visuals of the hotel where they were staying. They fled to Phuket after fleeing India, after the deadly nightclub fire claimed 25 lives. They've fled to that hotel, and from the updates that we are getting in, from the reports that we are getting in, the Royal Thai Police has detained the Lutra brothers, Gaurav and Saurabh Lutra. They have been detained at the hotel where they were fleeing to. All right, joining me live is my colleague Shambhavi. Shambhavi, we were just speaking on this very issue. The hearing has begun on the anticipatory bail plea of the Lutra brothers, and it is safe to say that the free run is going to end in the next 72 hours. What can we expect from here on? Shambhavi.
Definitely, Antara, because as the hearing continues and very strong points being made from the Council of State of Goa's end, because one by one, every argument that was being made yesterday on Lutra brothers' behalf is being broken here. They are debunking every claim that they've made, be it because yesterday we'll make it easy for our viewers to understand one strong claim that was being made yesterday by the Lutra brothers' end was that they did not flee the country. They went there for some business engagement and they went there to look at prospective hotel sites, to which now the council for the state of Goa has argued that this incident happened somewhat close to 11:30 p.m. at Saturday night, and they wake up at 1:15 a.m. just a couple of hours after that incident, and they book a flight, and then within a few hours they take that flight and they abscond to Thailand. So the timing of this entire so-called business engagement seems to be a little too convenient, and they flee because they fled because
all right, Shambhavi, I'll have to interrupt you there. We have a big breaking news that is coming in, ladies and gentlemen. Indigo CEO has arrived at the DGC office. This is the big breaking that we are getting in, ladies and gentlemen. Remember the civil aviation meltdown, the story that we have been tracking very, very closely. And right now, this is the breaking news that we are getting in on your screens. Indigo CEO has arrived at the DGCA office in New Delhi. Indigo CEO Peter Elbers has arrived at the Directorate General of Civil Aviation office in New Delhi to discuss the recent operational disruptions and the flight cancellations, the massive civil aviation meltdown, the nationwide civil aviation meltdown that we have been tracking very, very closely. The DGCA has in fact summoned Elbers to submit a comprehensive report on the disruptions, including data on flight restoration, crew deployment and passenger compensation. The DGCA has also deployed an 8-member oversight team at Indigo's headquarters. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, we had broken this story yesterday. They have, in fact, deployed this 8-member oversight team at Indigo's headquarters to monitor the airline operations, including fleet management, pilot roster and crew utilization. This move comes after Indigo cancelled over 5,000 flights, affecting millions of passengers. This was a huge civil aviation meltdown that we have been tracking. And right now, these are the first pictures, the first visuals coming on your screen. Indigo CEO Peter Elbers has been summoned to the DGCA office in Delhi. All right, joining me live is my colleague Chandrakala. Chandrakala, this is the fresh update that we are getting in. The Indigo CEO has been summoned to the DGCA office in Delhi. He has been summoned. He has been asked to submit a comprehensive report. What are the other updates on the cards? Chandrakala.
Yes, what we're learning is that the Indigo CEO, Peter Elbers, has just arrived at the DGCA. He has been asked to appear before the DGCA today to present comprehensive data on the recent widespread flight disruptions and the measures put in place to mitigate the crisis. Now, we know that the DGCA has also set up an oversight team to monitor the carrier's network and crew operations. Well, now Indigo CEO will be presenting a comprehensive data on the recent widespread flight disruptions and the measures being taken to mitigate this crisis. What we're also learning is that, yesterday, of course, on Wednesday, the DGCA has ordered an immediate on-site inspection inspection at 11 airports across the country after widespread passenger inconvenience caused by large-scale disruptions in Indigo's operations. The fact that, the flights continue to be disrupted, even though the chief executive officer of the airlines, Peter Elbers, claiming on Tuesday that its operations were back on track. And we have seen that earlier the Civil Aviation Minister Ram Mohan Naidu held a detailed meeting with Indigo's top management to review the stabilization measures. Now it remains to be seen what could be the outcome of this very meeting, which is still underway. Of course, it's underway right at the DGCA, where the Indigo CEO has been summoned. Of course, we know that earlier he was also present during the review meeting with the Civil Aviation Minister Ram Mohan Naidu, where a detailed review meeting has taken place. And now, of course, the DGCA has once again, summoned the Indigo CEO as the crisis still continues to, of course, now the fact that the situation is stabilizing, but the fact that more and more flights still remain cancelled on Thursday morning, including Bangalore Airport, for that matter, Ahmedabad Airport. In fact, yesterday, more than 200 flights were cancelled, including major airport, including Bangalore and Delhi, witnessing the largest cancellations. So yes, it remains to be seen what could be the outcome after the Indigo CEO being summoned by DGCA today. Over to
Absolutely, Chandrakala. Do stay with us. We'll be tracking the story very, very closely. Ladies and gentlemen, we are getting another breaking news that is coming in. A US delegation has arrived at the Ministry of Commerce and Industry at the Vanija Bhavan in New Delhi. Deputy US Ambassador for Trade, Rick Switzer, is on a 2-day visit to India to engage in high-level discussions with the Indian officials. This is the fresh breaking news that we are getting in, ladies and gentlemen. The India-US trade talks is back on the cards. The US delegation has arrived at the Vanija Bhavan. Deputy US Ambassador for Trade Rick Switzer is on a 2-day visit to India to engage in high-level discussions with the Indian officials. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, the trade war, the India-US trade war is back in the picture, and the US delegation has now arrived in New Delhi in Vanija Bhavan. In fact, the delegation is being led by Deputy US Ambassador for Trade Rick Switzer, who is on a 2-day visit. Chandrakala, who continues to join me live. Chandrakala, the India-US trade talks is currently underway. We are getting in these visuals where the US delegation has now arrived at the Vanija Bhavan. What can we expect of this meeting? Chandrakala.
Well, in fact, the India-US trade talks is back on track, and now the fact that the US team is visiting New Delhi this week for another round of discussions for the, on the bilateral trade agreement. As we've seen that earlier, the Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal has given out a detail, has shared an important update on the ongoing India-US trade deal talks, which is progressing well right at this moment. Well, this visit being led by the US Deputy Trade Representative Rick Switzer holds very significance, as both countries are now working to conclude the initial phase of the bilateral trade agreement, which has been the very focus. We have seen. This marks the U.S. delegate's second such visit following Donald Trump's, 25%, 50% tariff on Indian products. Entering U.S. markets, which, stemming from India's Russian oil purchases. So, yes, earlier, of course, you have seen that U.S. delegation visited India on September. Of course, the Commerce Minister has also visited Washington. So, yes, a very, very crucial talks is again back on track as far as India-US trade deal is concerned, and now the US delegation is visiting New Delhi. This is the second such visit by the US delegation, and much more are expected from these talks as both the countries are now progressing well, is moving forward towards a bilateral trade agreement. Over to you. Absolutely,
Chandrakala. The US delegation has arrived at the Vanija Bhavan. We are, of course, tracking the story very, very closely. Thank you for getting us those details, Chandrakala. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to shift our focus to another story that we are tracking. Now, security forces in Jammu and Kashmir have intensified operations along the international border in Samba and surrounding sectors amid dropping temperatures and heightened concerns of the cross-border infiltration. Now, as joint teams of the Jammu and Kashmir Police's Special Operations Group, the Army and the Border Security Force conduct combing drives through the forest areas, riverine belts and the streams, long known as infiltration routes. Now, the idea is preempting any threat before it actually materializes. In fact, Gursimran, my colleague, has brought us this report. Take a look.
Security forces have launched one of its mega operations as part of its winter strategy, and right now we are reporting from the woods of the Samba, where massive search operation is presently underway. As you see, the troops of the Special Operations Group of the Samba, they are carrying out this intensified searches in the deserts and the upper areas that has some riverine structures as well, and this is very close to the Indo-Pakistan international border where these intensified searches are taking place. What they are doing, they are carrying out the searches to ensure that the security forces, they are able to scan everything, because this entire area, the 360-degree view that you see, that this is a dense forest that is in in the Samba district, and here it becomes really a major challenge for the security forces that how they will storm through these forests so that it cannot be used by the adversary, it cannot be used by the enemies of the country, because this area has been a traditional route of infiltration. And now as we speak, you will see how they are carrying out the intensified operations, that they are looking into every nook and the corner, and once they reach some point, then they are ensuring that every threat from across the border is foiled. I'll request Ashu to tag along so that we can show you that how in these of the dense areas the security forces are carrying out these operations. Now that they have seen some movement, they have completely come to a standstill. Only when they see that this movement, this threat is neutralized or the threat is ruled out, only then they will move out. So tactically in the woods of the Samba, the special operation group is moving. They are moving so that they can rule out the threat of the drone dropping, because see, these are the dense areas, and in these dense areas what the terrorists do, that they locate some coordinates and then they drop the consignment into the Indian territory. But now what is happening, that here the intensified operations are underway.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, tracking another breaking news that is coming in. This one from Jammu and Kashmir. Anantnag police has launched a verification drive in Pahalgam after the arrest of a Chinese tourist in Srinagar. In fact, all hotels and lodging facilities have been directed to follow strict documentation protocols. Proper verification of both foreign and domestic tourists is now mandatory at the check-in itself. Police have in fact stressed the need for complete and accurate records to meet security and regulatory requirements. That is the breaking news that we are tracking, ladies and gentlemen. The Anantnag police has now launched a verification drive in Pahalgam, Jammu and Kashmir. This was after the arrest of a Chinese tourist, Hu Kongtai, in Srinagar for violating visa norms. The police are in fact now directing all hotels and the lodging facilities to follow strict documentation protocols, and they are making proper verification of foreign and domestic tourists mandatory at the check-in itself. These are some of the key developments that we are tracking. Also joining me live is my colleague Zeenat. Zeenat, the J&K cops have now launched a verification drive, and this was after the arrest of the Chinese tourist Hu Kongtai in Srinagar. Tell us more about this particular verification drive. Zeenat.
These kinds of raids or the verification being done by the Jammu and Kashmir police as far as the hoteliers, homestay owners are concerned, because Chinese tourist Hong Tai, who is somewhere around 29-year-old, a Boston student, was found violating the visa-related norms. In fact, the Form C has been violated by this Chinese traveler. Now he has been taken into the custody by the Homhama police post, and the multiple agency probe is going on, because there was a military flag that was related to this Chinese traveler. When his mobile phone was found, it was a chatter, internet chatter, but the chatter that was found was something unusual, where he was searching the material related to Article 370 abrogation, the deployment of CRPF and other agencies, and the political reactions of that time, this was an unusual chatter that was flagged by the military unit. And also he had visited the South Kashmir, where you have the headquarters of the Victor Force. He has visited Hazrat Bal Shrine, Harban Buddhist monastery. These are very sensitive locations where his presence was found. And now his phone has also been taken for the forensic analysis, for which now the protocols are being found. Although he claims that he is the enthusiast traveler and he didn't know the visa norm, but since he has been a student of Boston, an educated one, and the foreign nationals definitely have to follow the protocols as far as the visa-related things are concerned. He went to Ladakh, which was not there in the itinerary. From there, he went to Zanskar. He was found, his presence was found there for 3 days, and then he was asked by the Ladakh police to vacate immediately. And today itself in Badgam, one of the homestays where he was living for some time. Now that has also, the police has booked the entire hotel management for violating the norms as far as the accommodation being given to the foreign nationals are concerned. The same kind of raids were also found in Anantnag. This is the Pahalgam, because Pahalgam has been in news since April this year because of the barbaric attack that was carried by the Lashkar-e-Toiba, where the tourists were killed, and now another drive is being conducted by the Anantnag police, as you see in the visuals, that where the hoteliers, the homestay owners are being told that follow the guidelines, the protocols, and all those who are still unregistered, register with the tourism department.
Well, absolutely, Zeenat. In fact, getting you another development in this very story, ladies and gentlemen, the Budgam police have in fact booked the management of the Hamhama homestay for housing a Chinese national without completing the required reporting formalities. In fact, an FIR has also been registered under the Section 8 and 23 subsection B of the Immigration Foreigners Act 2025, which was registered at the police station in Budgam, and investigations have also been initiated. Now, Hu Kongtai, the Chinese national, was taken into custody at the Hamhama police post in Budgam of Central Kashmir. He is now currently being questioned by multiple agencies over alleged violations of visa conditions and visits to sensitive key locations in the valley. Ladies and gentlemen, this is another update that we are tracking. Zeenat, in fact, you were just telling us about this particular update itself. In fact, the Chinese national has now been arrested, and he was arrested over violations of visa conditions, and he also reportedly visited sensitive locations in the valley. Tell us more.
He has visited the sensitive locations, although these are the restricted locations, the restricted zones where his presence was felt. And also, as I said, the military unit has already flagged the illegal and something unusual internet chatter because of which he has been detained at the Hamhama police post by the Jammu and Kashmir police. He was asked what was he doing in such location. He said that he is an enthusiastic traveler, and that is what got him to these places. But see, his presence has been found in Avantipora Victor Force location, which is the army headquarters that takes care of the entire operation in South Kashmir. He has taken the photographs. He has also, as far as online history goes, he has been surfing as far as the deployment of CRPF during the abrogation of Article 370 is concerned. He has been reading the material and also has been taking the reading the political reactions of that time. What made the traveler to go through the pages of 2019? That is under the investigation. The team has already taken his phone for the forensic analysis, and then because his visa will expire on 30th of December, that means this month, the current month, but he will be deported only once the legal formalities are completed. And this time the situation does not allow the security forces, the joint forces, to take any loophole in any kind of case. And that is why we see an action in Budgam where this homestay this entire management has been booked by the Budgam police for violating the norms as far as the Chinese nationals are concerned. And this is an illegal homestay that has been asked to register with the concerned department.
Absolutely, Zina. Thank you for getting us these details. We'll be tracking this story very, very closely. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to slip our focus into some other stories that are making headlines from across the country in Bharat in 2 minutes. A massive fire broke out at the irrigation factory in Jalgaon's MITC area. Officials confirmed the blaze, which spread rapidly due to plastic materials, has now been brought under control with no casualties reported. 3 people dead, 13 injured in the collision between a car and a tractor near Ayodhya. 4 injured patients admitted in the hospital are said to be in a stable condition. The victims belong to Madhya Pradesh's Rewa district. Two cops were suspended for alleged negligence in the investigation into last year's Porsche car crash that have been dismissed from the service now. A Porsche car allegedly driven by a 17-year-old boy in an inebriated condition had fatally run over 2 techies on a motorcycle in Pune last year. A major fire broke out at a 6-story commercial building and the offices of SBI. After continuous efforts of nearly 24 hours, the firefighters, NDRF, SDRF teams, assisted by teams from Guwahati Refinery, doused the flames and brought the situation under control. Fortunately, no casualties have been reported so far. Another fire erupted at a multi-story building in Sadar Bazaar. Prompting response from Delhi Fire Services, the blaze swept through storage units for polythene and plastic bottles. Firefighters dispatched multiple water tenders, eventually controlling the flames. Authorities have confirmed that no casualties or injuries have been reported, and the cause of the fire is currently under investigation. All right, time to slip into a very, very short break. On the other side, Delhi court to resume hearing Lutra's anticipatory bail plea this afternoon.
ये है सीक्रेट रेसिपी MDH का जीरा सिप जल जीरा मसाला। सिप सिप जीरा सिप MDH का जल जीरा सिप MDH का जल जीरा सिप।
प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ
8 मिनट में तैयार।
क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा हार्डकोर मसाला। भाई मेरे बेटे को प्यार चाहिए मेरा बेटी का ब्लड आ रहा ब्लड नीचे से ब्लड आ रहा प्यार चाहिए दे दो। क्यों नहीं कर सकता क्यों नहीं कर सकता क्यों नहीं कर सकता मेरे को प्यार चाहिए अभी।
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, time for us to slip into another short break, getting to the details of the plea, the anticipatory bail plea that has been filed by the Lutra brothers in the Rohini court.
MDH की देगी मीरज
देगी मिर्च का तड़का अंग अंग फड़का।
MDH की देगी मीरज केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल बोलो जुबान केसरी।
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा क्या स्वाद है। अरे मेरे राजा
सबका राजा प्योर मसाला।
From Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
welcome, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching Live and Breaking at 3 p.m. I am Tanisha Avasthi, and the top story that we're tracking on this edition of Live and Breaking is, of course, about the Lutra brothers. The brothers who had fled after their negligence had killed 25 people. They have now been nabbed, have been apprehended. They are currently in Thai police's custody. And how is India initiating the process with the Thailand authorities to get them back to India? We're going to tell you all that and much more. But first, a quick check of the headlines. It's end game for the Lutra brothers. The duo has been detained in Thailand by the Royal Thai Police. First pictures on Republic. Passports suspended, duo detained. Lutra brothers' deportation process has now been initiated from Thailand. Delhi court has resumed the hearing. The bail plea of the Lutra's anticipatory bail application this afternoon. All eyes are on the order.
देश भर में ई सिगरेट बैन हो चुकी है। क्या सदन में आपने अलाउ कर दी है?
नहीं, कोई माननीय सदस्य को कोई भी
सर टीएमसी के सांसद पी रहे हैं सर टीएमसी के सांसद सर कई दिनों से लगातार बैठ के पी रहे हैं सर।
Amid the winter session, e-cigarette scandal breaks out inside the Parliament. BJP MP Anurag Thakur accuses the TMC MP of smoking an e-cigarette in Lok Sabha. United States delegation arrives at the Ministry of Commerce and Industry in the national capital for trade talks. Ladies and gentlemen, we start this edition with some big breaking news that's coming in, and this is not very good news for India, where we learned that the Indian rupee has now hit a record low. The central bank is likely to intervene to limit the losses. The Indian rupee has slipped to a record low on Thursday, that is today, deepening its slide past the 90 per dollar mark as the absence of a trade deal with the United States continued to weigh and cooperate dollar outflows added to the pressure. The rupee weakened to 90.4675 against the United States dollar, eclipsing its previous all-time low of 90.42 hit on December 4th. All right, on that note, I'm joined by Pranav from the digital newsroom. Pranav, what could be the possible reasons with rupee hitting another record low? It had first hit a low on December 4th and now another big development today on December 11th.
Well, Tanisha, this is just a continuation of the depreciation of rupee. If you see, in fact, the rupee had slipped below the 90 rupees per dollar mark just about a few days ago, and now we are seeing a fresh new 90.4675. If you just go to see, it's about a 5% decrease in just 2025, and it's in fact one of the third worst performing currencies among the top 7 currencies in the world in terms of dollar swap. So yes, there has been a depreciation, and the factors primarily are the uncertainty over the US-India trade deal, the Federal Open Market Committee decision yesterday wherein there was a rate cut announced, so which in turn in a longer sense also increases the demand for dollar, and that impacts the demand for rupee and in turn depreciates the rupee. And of course the third most important thing is the ongoing uncertainty over the Russia-Ukraine talks, as well as the India-US trade deal. Primarily the India-US trade deal are some of the reasons behind the depreciation of the rupee.
All right, Pranav, thank you very much for getting us those details. Quickly moving across to more breaking news that's coming in, the edition of this Live and Breaking, and this is from Pakistan. Now, the Pakistan general, the field general who had initiated the Taliban takeover has now been court-martialed. That's the latest breaking news that we are getting in from Pakistan. We learned that it was on August 12, 2024. Now, we learned that the process of field general court-martial was initiated against Mr. Faiz Hamid. He was the formerly Lieutenant General under provisions of Pakistan Army Act spreading over 15 months. Now, the accused in the case, this time it is Mr. Faiz Hamid, the formerly Lieutenant General, was tried on 4 charges related to engaging in political activities, violation of Official Secret Act, detrimental to safety and interests of the state, misuse of authority and government resources, and causing wrongful loss to the person. Gursimran, my colleague, is joining us live for more details on the story. Yes, Gursimran, take us through what it actually means for Pakistan.
Say it is clearly means that the Pakistan Army's political vendetta against PTI and its loyalists is continuing, and this is now General Faiz Hamid, who was considered as one of the loyalists of Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf and one of those who was instrumental in fall of Kabul to Taliban. We have seen that in the past also that the process of it was in 2024 only when the General Field Court-Martial proceedings were initiated against Faiz Hamid because he was considered as one of those close to Imran Khan. And now after all these 15 months there was a trial that was going on, and now a 14-year-long rigorous punishment by the military court that is controlled by none other than the Pakistani Army, and its Field Marshal Asim Munir has sentenced him to 14 years of the rigorous punishment that will take place. This has been announced today itself by the Pakistani military court, which means that now, like Imran Khan, Faiz Hamid has also to be behind the bars, and it is very clear that the allegations that have been made, it was clear that he was involved in the political activities and the intentions of maligning the image of Pakistan and being a threat to the sovereignty of Pakistan. So all the allegations that in the last week press conference DG ISPR has made on PTI, similar are the allegations on the Faiz Hamid as well, the former Lieutenant General and the Chief of the ISI. Similar allegations, and he has been sentenced for the 14-year punishment, which means that political vendetta against PTI and its loyalists, it is going to continue in days to come, as Pakistan Army has taken a full charge of going to go full against the PTI and its loyalists in Pakistan.
Right, Gusraman, thank you very much for getting us those details. Moving on, ladies and gentlemen, India's humanitarian mission in Sri Lanka after Cyclone Ditwa has now entered a decisive phase. Now, the Indian Army's medical team operating under Operation Sagar Bandhu has treated more than 5,000 patients in just first 48 hours. Lieutenant Colonel Jagneet Gill, contingent of the commander of the Indian Army team deployed in Sri Lanka, underscores the collaborative nature of the mission and the shared commitment of both the nations. Take a look at this detailed report.
The first 48 hours after Cyclone Ditwa caused destruction in Sri Lanka, Indian Army treated more than 5,000 patients. India's relief effort in Sri Lanka following Cyclone Ditwa has moved into a critical stage now. Under Operation Sagar Bandhu, the Indian Army's medical contingent has already provided care to multiple people who were left injured. The Indian Army contingent, led by Lieutenant Colonel Jagneet Gill, set up a fully equipped mobile hospital in the flood-ravaged district of Trincomalee.
Well, the key facilities that were established by this hospital really depended on the fact that what were the facilities that were already available in this hospital. So the other hospital which has been non-functional, we were basically looking at facilities like the operation theatre, the dental section, the X-ray and the lab facilities. So we have been able to create these facilities. Other than that, we have also been able to create OPDs, which was the hour of the need. So we have been able to create the surgical OPD, the ortho OPD, the dental OPD, as well as family OPD. So we've been able to provide assistance to almost around 5,000, more than 5,000 patients.
The team's priority was to bring immediate, life-saving care to those cut off by the floods, as per Lieutenant Colonel Gill.
When the new age technology that we had employed this time was that we had surveillance drones which were very, very important to find the layout of the hospital and really helped us to establish it much faster. The other was the HVAC tents which were deployed to create OT in a minimum time. And also, since the layout of the hospital required us that the labs and the facilities for blood collection were far apart, so we could actually use the logistic drones to carry out lab samples and blood samples to the labs, and we could actually enhance our speed and we could get results much faster.
Within 24 hours, the team upgraded a previously non-functional healthcare center. The Indian Army installed an operational theatre, digital X-ray and a fully stocked laboratory in the health center. In addition, they opened OPDs for surgery, dentistry and family health, ensuring a comprehensive package of care. This came as major boost and upgrade to the existing medical infrastructure in Sri Lanka. Cyclone Ditwa made landfall on the eastern coast on 28 November, dumping more than 500 mm of rain in 48 hours. The resulting floods submerged 1.1 million hectares, which is roughly 20% of the island's landmass. 2.3 million people were directly exposed to waterborne hazards. The destruction was immense. Seven lakh 20,000 buildings were inundated, including 243 health facilities and hundreds of schools. In addition to the medical push, India dispatched 4 more naval vessels to deliver essential relief supplies. Food, water, medicines, and shelter kits were provided. The vessels have also provided logistical support for the evacuation of vulnerable civilians.
Ladies and gentlemen, for the past few weeks, Indigo had been undergoing through a very, very rough patch. In fact, one of the worst aviation crises that India had seen. Now, today, we learned that the Indigo CEO, after issuing back-to-back apologies and statement, has now been summoned at the DGCA office in the national capital. Latest visuals also coming in there from Delhi, where the Indigo CEO, Peter Elbus, has been summoned. He is currently at the DGCA office in the national capital. Those are the visuals, exclusive visuals of the DGCA CEO being summoned. He has now reached the Indigo CEO, I beg your pardon, being summoned and reaching the DGCA office. He will be holding a meeting with the DGCA officials. Ladies and gentlemen, DGCA has always been off the fact that they have relaxed FDTL rules for Indigo, because it was one of the drawbacks and one of the reasoning that Indigo had given, because of which the crisis had happened. Chandrakala is joining us live on the broadcast. Chandrakala, what is expected to come out of the meeting? The Indigo CEO, Peter Elbus, is already there at the DGCA. What kind of negotiations or what kind of talks are going to take place there today?
The fact is that, after a very crucial review meeting that took place 2 days back, wherein, of course, the Civil Aviation Minister held a crucial meeting with the Indigo top management, wherein the Indigo CEO was also present. And today, once again, of course, the Indigo CEO, Peter Elbus, has been summoned by the...
All right, cutting across to some breaking news that's coming in. The BJP spokesperson is holding a press conference. Let's cut across to what he's speaking on.
जो जब संसद में रहते हैं, आमूमन नहीं रहते, आमूमन कहीं और चले जाते, उनका मन नहीं लगता, वंदे मातरम की डिबेट हो या शुभांशु शुक्ला जी की डिबेट हो, पर जब रहते हैं तब ये इकलौते ऐसे नेता प्रतिपक्ष रहे जिन्होंने प्रधानमंत्री के वक्तव्य के बीच सांसदों को इशारा करके वेल में घुसकर वहां पर डिस्टर्ब करने के लिए उत्साहित किया, प्रोत्साहित किया। तो आज सवाल यह बनता है कि क्या इतना सेंस ऑफ एंटाइटलमेंट है इन पार्टीज का कि वो लोकतंत्र के सबसे पवित्र भवन, सबसे पवित्र मंदिर को बार बार उसकी मर्यादा को, उसकी डिग्निटी को तार तार करने के लिए ड्रामा का इस्तेमाल करते हुए पार्लियामेंट में इस प्रकार के कृत्य करते हैं। और आज इस पर टीएमसी को साफ साफ जवाब देना चाहिए। मैं दूसरे मुद्दे पर बढ़ना चाहता हूं, वो भी पार्लियामेंट से ही जुड़ी हुई है। मित्रों, महात्मा गांधी के 3 बंदर थे, बुरा मत देखो, बुरा मत बोलो और बुरा मत सुनो। देखा होगा, चित्रण है महात्मा गांधी के 3 बंदर। आधुनिक काल में परम आदरणीय नेता प्रतिपक्ष राहुल गांधी जी के भी 3 राजनीतिक सांकेतिक बंदर हैं। इन द मॉडर्न टाइम्स, राहुल गांधी, who has nothing in common with Mahatma Gandhi, including the surname, it is a stolen surname. He has 3 political symbolic monkeys. और ये 3 बंदर क्या दर्शाते हैं? वो राहुल जी की उस प्रवृत्ति को दर्शाते हैं, इसको कोई अन्यथा ना ले, कि सच मत बोलो, सच मत सुनो और सच मत देखो। और कल पार्लियामेंट में जो चुनाव सुधार को लेकर विस्तृत चर्चा हुई, उसमें राहुल गांधी ने इन्हीं 3 बंदरों का एक उदाहरण पेश करते हुए, मैं उनको नहीं तुलना कर रहा हूं, मेरी बातों को कट करके, क्लिप कट करके, ये उनकी आदत है, उनकी सुप्रिया श्रीनेत वगैरह की, मैं कह रहा हूं कि उन्हीं की तरह अनुकरण करते हुए राहुल गांधी ना सच सुनने को तैयार थे, राहुल गांधी ना सच देखने को तैयार थे, राहुल गांधी ना सच बोलने को तैयार थे। और इसीलिए राहुल गांधी जी ने कल एलओपी का एक नया मतलब गढ़ लिया। एक तो एलओपी का मतलब लीडर ऑफ ऑपोजिशन नहीं है उनके लिए, लीडर ऑफ प्रोपेगेंडा है। प्रोपेगेंडा तो भरपूर फैलाना संवैधानिक संस्थाओं पर, रफाल पर, सेना पर, एचएएल पर, एलआईसी पर, एसबीआई पर, सब पर कल उन्होंने जो प्रोपेगेंडा फैलाया इलेक्शन कमीशन को लेकर, तो लीडर ऑफ प्रोपेगेंडा तो है ही, पर दूसरा एलओपी का मतलब उनके लिए बन चुका है लीडर ऑफ पलायन। मतलब कि चर्चा की मांग आप करो पार्लियामेंट में, चर्चा के लिए चुनौती दो आप, और जब चर्चा में जवाब मिले आपको, बिंदुवार तरीके से आपके जो झूठ के बम है वो डिफ्यूज हो जाए, और आपके एक के बाद एक झूठ के ऊपर से पर्दाफाश होता जाए, तो आप एलओपी लीडर ऑफ पलायन बन के भाग जाओ पार्लियामेंट से। उन्होंने कहा था डरो मत, हम तो कहते हैं राहुल जी भागो मत। अब तो भाग गए, पार्लियामेंट छोड़ के ही भाग गए। तो सच नहीं देखना है, सच नहीं बोलना है, सच नहीं सुनना है। आपको पता है कि मैं थोड़ी बहुत शायरी कविता भी कर लेता हूं, तो मैंने भी राहुल जी की जो स्थिति है, राहुल जी की बहुत कठिन स्थिति है। ओवर कॉन्फिडेंस और नार्सिसिज्म के बीच में जो फाइन लाइन है, अति कॉन्फिडेंस और आत्ममुग्धता, इसके बीच में जो फाइन रेखा है, उस पर राहुल गांधी खड़े हैं। उसको बोलते हैं पॉइंट ऑफ डिल्यूजन। तो राहुल गांधी जी के लिए मैंने कुछ लाइंस में लिख कर लाया हूं। ता उम्र राहुल गांधी रिमेन्स इन डेलुलू। डेलुलू आजकल ये शब्द चलता है, जेनजी का शब्द है। डिल्यूजन में जिसको होता है वो, उनको बोलते हैं डेलुलू। इनका कोई नहीं बचा है सोलुलू। सोलुलू मतलब सोल्यूशन। ता उम्र रहते हैं इन डेलुलू, कोई नहीं बचा इनका सोलुलू। चुनाव के समय जाएंगे कोलंबिया से लेकर होनोलुलू, और चुनाव हारने पर बोलेंगे इलेक्शन कमीशन व्हाट डिड यू डू। अभी जेनजी की भाषा में लिखा है, पुरानी शायरी नहीं है, नहीं जेनजी वाली शायरी है। राहुल गांधी जी, आपका ये जो 4D फॉर्मूला है ना, पहले डी से इलेक्शन में डिफीट होता है। अब जब डी से डिफीट होता है तो डी से वो डाइवर्ट करते हैं, भाई मेरे ऊपर ना आए, कोई मुझसे सवाल ना पूछे कि 95 टाइम्स मैं क्यों इलेक्शन हारा। तो डी से डाइवर्ट करना है, अटेंशन, अकाउंटेबिलिटी। तो डी से डिसइंफॉर्मेशन फैलाना है, डी से डिस्टोर्ट करना है, डी से डेफिसिट ऑफ ट्रस्ट पैदा करना है किसी भी संवैधानिक संस्था में, कि भाई मैं नहीं हारा, इन्होंने मुझे हरा दिया। कोई बच्चा फेल हो जाता है पेपर में तो बोलता है कि भाई पेपर टीचर ही गलत था, सिलेबस के बाहर से सवाल आए, एग्जामिनर करेक्ट नहीं था, जो बहानेबाजी होती है। और लास्ट डी जिस पर राहुल गांधी आ चुके हैं वो है डी से धमकी देना। वो भी हमने देखा कि पार्लियामेंट में खड़े होकर राहुल गांधी अब 4th डी पर पहुंच चुके हैं, डी से धमकी देना। जो उनकी दादी मां ने तो इमरजेंसी लगा दी थी संवैधानिक संस्थाओं पर। संवैधानिक संस्थाओं को कुचलने का लंबा इतिहास है इनके परिवार का, तो ये कोई नई बात नहीं है। पर उसी इमरजेंसी मानसिकता को दिखाते हुए राहुल गांधी जी अब डी से धमकी देने लगे संवैधानिक संस्थाओं को। कहते हैं आकर देख लेंगे, रेट्रोस्पेक्टिवली आपके ऊपर कार्रवाई करेंगे। तो राहुल जी की जो समस्या है वो ईसीआई नहीं है। ईसीआई तो बहाना है, राहुल जी की समस्या ईएमआई है। आप बोलोगे ईएमआई क्या? ईएमआई मतलब इमरजेंसी मानसिकता ऑफ इंदिरा। आज भी उससे बाहर नहीं निकले। तब इंदिरा इज इंडिया था, आज परिवार तंत्र इज अबाव संविधान तंत्र। मेरा परिवार चुनाव हारे तो संविधान तंत्र गलत, इलेक्शन कमीशन गलत, जुडिशरी गलत। और दूसरा है एंटाइटल्ड मानसिकता ऑफ इंदिराज ग्रैंडसन, अपने आप को ही पार्लियामेंट के ऊपर समझना, अपने आप को ही देश के ऊपर समझना, अपने आप को हर संवैधानिक संस्थाओं के ऊपर समझना। तो ये ईसीआई का विषय नहीं है राहुल गांधी का। राहुल गांधी का असली विषय तो ईएमआई का है, इमरजेंसी मानसिकता से ग्रसित और एंटाइटल्ड मानसिकता में फंसे हुए। अब राहुल गांधी जी ने मुख्यतः से अपने थ्रेड्स बांधने की कोशिश की उन्होंने स्पीच में, आपने देखा। हालांकि वो थ्रेड कहां से कहां जुड़ रहा था वो तो हम सब ने देखा, ना इधर का थ्रेड वहां जुड़ रहा था, ना उधर का थ्रेड इधर जुड़ रहा था। पर उनके जो थ्रेड्स में से निकला वो 4 बिंदु थे। इलेक्शन कमिश्नर की नियुक्ति पर, सीसीटीवी पर, इम्यूनिटी पर, और राहुल गांधी ने जो इलेक्शन कमीशन को रेट्रोस्पेक्टिवली एक्शन करने की बातें की। और हर एक बिंदु पर कल गृह मंत्री अमित शाह जी ने बिंदुवार तरीके से पूरे कानून को और संविधान को समझाते हुए पॉइंट बाय पॉइंट रिबटल किया। राहुल गांधी जी कहते हैं कि आज की तारीख में नियुक्ति निष्पक्षता से नहीं होती। हालांकि आज नियुक्ति इलेक्शन कमिश्नर की कोई मोदी जी डायरेक्टली नहीं करते, पैनल करता है, कानून के तहत बना हुआ पैनल करता है। अब राहुल जी, मेरा आपसे सवाल है, आपकी तो सरकारें बहुत साल तक रही, 1950 से लेकर 2014 तक। आप मुझे बता दीजिए कि कौन सा ऐसा इलेक्शन कमिश्नर या कमिश्नर्स है जिसकी नियुक्ति आपने पैनल के माध्यम से करवाई हो, जिसमें नेता प्रतिपक्ष की कोई योगदान या रोल रहा हो। आज तो है, आज जो इलेक्शन कमिश्नर अपॉइंट होता है वो एक पैनल के तहत होता है। आपके समय पर तो डायरेक्टली अपॉइंट होता था, पहले तो मल्टी मेंबर भी नहीं था, एक ही इलेक्शन कमिश्नर। तो वहां पर वो प्रोपेगेंडा झूठ साबित हुआ उनका। दूसरा, उन्होंने सीसीटीवी पर सवाल उठाया कि 45 दिन के बाद सीसीटीवी क्यों नहीं रखा जाता। उस पर भी जवाब आया कि भाई 1950 से कानून बना है कि 45 दिन के बाद तो सुप्रीम कोर्ट भी किसी इलेक्शन पिटीशन का संज्ञान नहीं ले सकता। मतलब आपको जो पिटीशन दायर करनी है, अगर आपको लगता है आपकी चुनाव में कोई गलती हुई है, तो वो 45 दिन की अवधि रिप्रेजेंटेशन ऑफ पीपल्स एक्ट 1950-51 में तय किया गया था, इनकी सरकारों ने तय किया। अब सीसीटीवी 45 दिन से आगे रखने का तो कोई औचित्य नहीं बचता, तो उसको अलाइन किया गया। पर मैं आपसे पूछना चाहता हूं राहुल जी, चलिए छोड़ दीजिए कानून की बातें, कहां आप समझेंगे। बिहार में तो आप कह रहे हैं ना बड़े स्केल पर धांधली हुई, और बिहार के चुनाव 14 नवंबर को हुए, रिजल्ट्स आए, और आज आप देख लीजिए कितने दिन हो चुके हैं। तो कितनी आपने पिटीशंस फाइल की और सीसीटीवी को आपने स्टोर करवा दिया, उसका जवाब ही दे दीजिए। मतलब कि 35 से 40 दिन की अवधि निकल चुकी है बिहार चुनाव से, पर एक याचिका कांग्रेस ने ऑफिशियली फाइल नहीं की है, पर हल्ला मचाना है, हल्ला काटना है। तीसरी बात उन्होंने कही कि इलेक्शन कमिश्नर को इम्यूनिटी क्यों मिलती है। राहुल जी देखिए, इतना एम्बैरेस मत कीजिए अपने आप को भी और हमें भी। आप नेता प्रतिपक्ष हैं, वेदर वी लाइक इट और यू डोंट लाइक इट, आप हैं। आप एक संवैधानिक पद से, संवैधानिक दृष्टि से महत्वपूर्ण पद पर है। चाहे आपको संविधान का ज्ञान हो ना हो, आपको कम से कम यह इमेज तो रखनी चाहिए कि आप संविधान जानते हैं भारत का। आर्टिकल 324 बड़े क्लियरली इस पावर को देता है, और जो भी संवैधानिक पद पर अपनी ड्यूटी को डिस्चार्ज करता है उसको इम्यूनिटी मिलती ही है अपने कार्यों के लिए। ये संविधान सभा और संविधान के फाउंडर्स ने तय किया था, ये कोई हमने थोड़ी तय किया है। और रिप्रेजेंटेशन पीपल्स एक्ट 1950-51 में सेक्शन 146 में बाकायदा वही लाइन है, मैं पढ़कर थोड़ी सुना भी देता हूं। नो सूट और प्रोसिक्यूशन विल लाई अगेंस्ट कमीशन और एनी अदर पर्सन, जो भी वो कार्य करते हैं उसके दृष्टिकोण से। तो क्या राहुल गांधी जी कहना चाहते हैं कि नेहरू जी ने गलत तरीके से, संविधान सभा ने गलत तरीके से ये इम्यूनिटी दी है? तो बता दे और आकर ओपनली नेहरू जी को डिसरिगार्ड करे, ये चोरी छिपे ना करे, ओपनली आकर करे। और जिन लोगों के परिवार का इतिहास यह रहा है कि इमरजेंसी के पीक पर मिनी कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन लागू करके 42nd अमेंडमेंट लाकर अपने आप को, मतलब प्रधानमंत्री को इम्यूनिटी दे देना, वो भी रेट्रोस्पेक्टिवली, वो लोग बात कर रहे हैं इम्यूनिटी की। हमारे प्रधानमंत्री तो वो है जो अब वो कानून बन रहा है जिसमें कि अगर आप जेल में रहेंगे तो आपको पद छोड़ना पड़ेगा। हमारे वाले तो वो है जो कहते हैं प्रधानमंत्री को पहले डालो उसमें। आपके वाले तो वो थे जो कहते थे कि प्रधानमंत्री पर जुडिशरी भी सवाल नहीं उठा सकती कन्विक्ट होने के बाद। मैं कंफ्यूज हूं कल की राहुल गांधी की जो थ्रेड वाली बातें हैं। हालांकि उसके धागे तो अमित शाह जी ने खोल दिए, पर वो धागे कहां जा रहे मुझे समझ में नहीं आता। कांग्रेस का अब तक डिबेट्स में और बाकी जगह पर यह कहना था कि हम एसआईआर के खिलाफ नहीं है, हम एसआईआर की जो प्रक्रिया अपनाई जा रही है उसके खिलाफ है। ठीक है, पर मनीष तिवारी जो कि संभवतः ओपनिंग स्पीकर थे कांग्रेस के, वो आकर कहते हैं कि एसआईआर करने का तो कोई कानूनी संवैधानिक अधिकार ही नहीं है। तो इसका मतलब यह हुआ, और राहुल जी मेरे सवाल आपसे अब शुरू हो रहे हैं, हिम्मत हो तो चैलेंज एक्सेप्ट करते हुए प्रेस वार्ता कीजिए या ट्विटर पर, जहां पर भी आपको, क्योंकि अभी तो आप विदेश जाएंगे, जर्मनी जाएंगे, तो जर्मनी से ट्वीट ही कर दीजिए, कोई समस्या नहीं।
ये है सीक्रेट रेसिपी MDH का जीरा सिप जल जीरा मसाला। सिप सिप जीरा सिप जीरा सिप MDH का जल जीरा सिप MDH का जल जीरा सिप।
In the India Today Best Universities Survey, India's #1 ranked universities in various streams are JNU Delhi, Amity University, AIMS Delhi, IIT Delhi, and National Law School, Bengaluru.
Our pure Shahi Paneer Masala. Delicious, healthy, every day.
आधे बाउल दही में 4 चम्मच MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला डाला, स्टर करो, पुदीना चटनी तैयार। MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला।
MDH
भाई मेरा बेटी को प्यार चाहिए, मेरा बेटी का ब्लड आ रहा है, नीचे से ब्लड।
एसआईआर का ठिकरा शुरू कर दिया है। 1 साल पहले राहुल जी, सवाल नंबर 2, आप एसआईआर तो बोलते ही नहीं थे, वोट चोरी तो बोलते नहीं थे, ईवीएम बोलते थे।
अब छोलिया हो या लोबिया, सफेद चने या काले चने,
सब कुछ मजेदार बने।
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
आर प्योर सूजी पास्ता, उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ,
8 मिनट में तैयार।
क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला।
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching Live and Breaking with me, Krutat Patnaik. At 3:30 p.m. this Thursday afternoon, our top story continues to remain the Lutra brothers, who are at the moment in the custody of immigration services in Thailand. But a crucial hearing is also simultaneously ongoing in the Delhi Rohini court, where they are asking for an anticipatory bail. What's going to happen? I'll bring you all those details in this bulletin. But as always, let's start this Live and Breaking bulletin with the headlines. It's the end game for the Lutra brothers, duo detained in Thailand by the Royal Thai Police. First pictures only on Republic. Passport suspended, duo detained. Lutra brothers deportation process initiated from Thailand. Delhi court resumes hearing in the Lutra brothers' anticipatory bail plea this afternoon. Crucial hearing ongoing in Delhi's Rohini court.
देश भर में ई सिगरेट बैन हो चुकी है। क्या सदन में आपने अलाउ कर दी है?
नहीं, कोई माननीय सदस्य को कोई भी
सर, टीएमसी के सांसद पी रहे हैं सर। सर, टीएमसी के सांसद सर कई दिनों से लगातार बैठ के पी रहे हैं सर।
Amid the winter session fireworks, an e-cigarette scandal breaks out in the Indian Parliament. BJP MP Anurag Thakur accuses TMC MP of smoking e-cigarettes on the Lok Sabha campus. US Trade Talk delegation teams arrives at the Ministry of Commerce and Industry to further India and US trade negotiations. And ladies and gentlemen, as the tensions between India and Pakistan continue to remain high, in a swift operation conducted by the Coast Guard, a Pakistani fishing vessel was now captured by the Coast Guard in India's exclusive economic zone. This Pakistani fishing boat had 11 crew members inside India's EE zone. The interdiction underscores Bharatiya Tatrakshak's sustained maritime operations and India's commitment to securing its maritime frontiers. This is a big operation that was undertaken by the Indian Coast Guard, in which a Pakistani fishing boat was apprehended with 11 Pakistani nationals on board. This fishing boat had ventured into India's exclusive economic zone, which is the right of India to only have access to its own ships and ships that have a sanction to operate in these waters. This Pakistani ship was found in Indian waters in the exclusive economic zone and now has been apprehended by India's Coast Guard. These are exclusive visuals only on Republic of that Pakistani boat that was intercepted by the Coast Guard along the Gujarat coast, and their 11 Pakistani citizens have been further detained from this fishing boat along the coast of Gujarat. This is the information that we are getting in. There's a continuous vigilance across India's maritime domain, and this remains to be a cornerstone of India's national maritime strategy. That's the latest coming in. My colleague Swarali joins us live on the broadcast with more details on the story. Swarali, do tell us about this interception of the Coast Guard of this Pakistani ship in India's exclusive economic zone and the 11 Pakistani nationals who have been detained.
Yes, that's true. 11 fishermen with a boat named Al Wali are arrested by the Indian Coast Guard, and their determination to secure the maritime borders of India. They were primarily found to be in the Indian maritime zones, and that's why they were detained and now interrogated thoroughly. That question regarding the intentions, right now they are in the custody of Indian Coast Guard. On the other hand, let me also tell you, they were detained near the Indian waters in the Jakhau area near the Kutch, Gujarat, and they are found there sailing without the proper permissions. They are found in the Indian maritime zone. And then a determination to secure the coastal line of India, Indian Coast Guard had arrested these 11 fishermen on a boat named Al Wali. That's the specific boat name from where these fishermen were detained and now interrogated by the coastline agencies of India.
Indeed, Swarali, and this continues to remain a very important point of concern. We know that this border has been largely used as an interception point by the Coast Guard, therefore the narco-terror trade that also stems through these fishing routes. So it is very important and crucial that this fishing boat has been captured in India's exclusive economic zone. It's a very difficult situation, especially in light of Operation Sindoor, where vigilance has been extremely high along the Gujarat coast, where various maritime drills have also been conducted. What are you picking up from the authorities and the Coast Guard vis-a-vis the further proceedings that will now continue now that these people have been detained and this boat has been captured and intercepted?
Right, they are totally examined by the Indian Coast Guards, and the interrogation will take its further course in a sense that they will investigate it in detail regarding their intention of crossing the international water borders present on the sea, and why were they even sailing in the Indian maritime zone when they had no permission, no legal permission to cross the international water borders. Why were they present on the Indian side of the Maritime Authority and Maritime Zone? So this is a constant effort by the Coast Guards to crack down on such illegal sailors who come across on the other side of the international borders in the Indian Maritime Zone, and which is very important economic area for India. They were caught on the area near Jakhau. They were sailing near the area called Jakhau, and they were brought back to the port, and now investigation will take its course, and they'll be thoroughly questioned, examined, and the intention of them sailing on the other hand, 11 fishermen, intention of them sailing on the Indian side will also be fetched.
Thank you so much, Swarali, for bringing us those details, ladies and gentlemen. That's the latest coming in from the Coast Guard. In the interim, we are also getting in more breaking news updates on the Lutra brothers, ladies and gentlemen. A shocking revelation has come to the fore, where 42 shell corporations linked to the Lutra brothers are now coming to the fore. They went to the courts and they said that everything is hunky-dory. They have all the requisite licenses to carry out their operations. But now Republic has found out a shadowy network of alleged 42 shell companies, all helmed by the same duo as directors, who have bizarrely registered, ladies and gentlemen, hear this, all 42 quote-unquote shell companies at the same address in northwest Delhi, with most incorporated in just last 2 years. Far from the billions that they claimed in legitimate restaurant ventures, these entities now are under the radar of the agencies, which appear to be designed for money laundering, tax evasion and fund diversion. So now the investigation into the Lutra brothers, ladies and gentlemen, is going into top gear, into next level scrutiny of this duo, from fire NOCs and illegal constructions in the CRZ zones, the coastal regulation zone. This investigation is now taking a pivotal turn, with more updates coming in on the money laundering aspect, the tax evasion aspect and the fund diversion aspect. My colleague Swarali continues to remain live with us on this story. Swarali, do tell us about the new money laundering, tax evasion and the fund diversion angle now, which is emerging in the Lutra brothers investigation, a shocking turn.
Yes, that's true. A new set of information is emerging, which is very, very shocking. Now their entire company network might come under the scrutiny after the Republic networks access the information that 42 shell companies might be registered in the name of alleged perpetrators of Goa fire tragedy, Lutra brothers. 42 shell companies. Now this pattern shows the possibility of money laundering, diversion of funds, Benami transactions, and all these 42 shell companies are registered on the same address. Let me take you to the details of this address. It's in the Hudson line of northwest Delhi. Now there are several private limited companies, limited liability partnerships, that is LLPs, and also so these 42 companies are registered on, allegedly, on major perpetrators of Goa fire tragedy, Lutra brothers. Now agencies might scan and scrutinize the entire network, which has now raised alarming questions regarding the intent. Lutra brothers were...
And ladies and gentlemen, in the interim, there is a big breaking development coming in from the Delhi Rohini court. The case moving very fast in the Lutra brothers investigation. The Delhi court has now reserved an order which was seeking an interim bail. The order will be delivered at 5 p.m. in the evening, and the suspense over whether or not the Lutra brothers will get an anticipatory bail to come to Goa and face their charges now will be concluded at 5 p.m. this evening, as the Delhi Rohini court has now reserved an order in the Lutra brothers case. Remember, this case first came to the court yesterday in the afternoon with senior advocate Siddharth Lutra representing the Lutra brothers there. The core contention of that argument was, ladies and gentlemen, that they are ready to come back to Goa and join the investigation as an aid to the investigation, but not as accused. The Lutra brothers shockingly also claimed that they were being persecuted, the restaurants were demolished without any notices, and that they are only the licensees and not owners. This was the conjecture that was put out. This was the argumentation that was put out by the lawyers of the Lutra brothers in the court. The court has, yesterday there was no interim bail granted to them. Today the order has been reserved till 5 p.m. in the evening. My colleague Shambhavi joins us live now on the broadcast with more details. Shambhavi, take it away. Shambhavi, if you can hear me, we are getting in a breaking news detail coming in that the Delhi court has now reserved an order. The order will be pronounced at 5 p.m. in the interim bail plea application that has been filed in the court. What's the latest that you're picking up on this story, Shambhavi?
Well, yes, the order has been reserved now after a lot of argument between both the counsels. There has been to and fro argument from both ends in this case. The counsel for Goa was arguing and debunking each and every argument that was made from Lutra's end yesterday, be it about them absconding from the country and asking protection from the police if they come back. And mind you, they have put a condition that we are ready to come back. We want to come back to India, provided that you give us protection because we are scared. What they have put forward in their argument is that I am being threatened, my wife is being threatened. What if you want me to come back to Goa and then you want me to be lynched by the public there? So they're saying that we are running a risk here. There has been a lot of things which has happened in just a matter of few days. There has been minute-to-minute changes in this entire case where several of my properties have been bulldozed. Rest of the properties have been shut down without any notice. And you are taking me accountable for something which I'm not even responsible for. I've barely been to Goa and I don't look after the operations there. Please take into account who handles the operations for that concerned club. And we are talking about Birch by Romeo Lane here, in which there was this fire. So these were the points that were being raised by the Lutra brothers, to which the state of Goa's council has said that they have raised several points about their health issues as well, that both Saurav and Gaurav Lutra have health issues, that Saurav has a history of epilepsy and also of seizures. So what they are saying, what the council for Goa has said, that if you look at their prescription, in that prescription, you can see that that prescription was prescribed without even meeting the patient. So that cannot be considered as something very severe. And when it comes to Gaurav Lutra, that was more of a cosmetology clinic medicines. So these are not such serious medicines that you can say that they have a medical history and that if they come back, there is more chances of getting seizure. So such arguments were made from both ends, very strong arguments made, a lot of to and fro between both the parties. And now that the court has reserved the order, the final order is expected to be out by 5 p.m. Back to you.
Indeed, Shambhavi, and stay with us because, ladies and gentlemen, these are fast-moving developments coming in as we speak. The Delhi court has now reserved an order that will be delivered at 5 p.m. in the evening. And the entire sequence of events, ladies and gentlemen, we have mapped out very clearly how these two individuals got into an aircraft which flew from 5:30 a.m. in the morning in an Indigo aircraft, and how they escaped the country mere hours after the entire fire incident took place in Goa. And let me also take you through a set of sequence of events as to how exactly this entire sequence was executed. First, what has happened since morning? Today morning, they were detained from the Indigo hotel where they were staying in room number 345. They were detained from the hotel room. These are the visuals of the Thai immigration services who detained them. Subsequently, their identities were verified because a blue corner notice of the Interpol was put in place, and because of that blue-collar notice, they were identified, their passports were photographed, and it was proven that it is Gaurav and Saurav, the two people who were in the Thai police custody. Subsequently, what happened? Then they were taken away into an immigration detention center of the Thai services. From there on, behind a blue door in a restricted area, they have been detained for further proceedings. We are being told now that Indian embassy officials also have reached Phuket, where these two individuals are now being detained by the immigration authorities of Thailand, and subsequently their process of repatriation back to the country is going to be under the focus. Amidst this, there was hope for them because a case hearing was ongoing in Delhi's Rohini court, which has now reserved a judgment at 5 p.m. in this evening. Their prayer to the Delhi court was an anticipatory bail for 5 days. Let me also show you the map graphics on this big wall to show you the scale and extent of which what has transpired in the last 24 to 48 hours. In just a moment, ladies and gentlemen, but the biggest story at the moment is whether or not Gaurav and Saurav will get that anticipatory bail, because the entire procedure of their repatriation is now somewhat hinged upon it. But let me also show you the sequence of events from the perspective of this big man detained in 72 hours. The fire breaks off here in Goa at 11:45 p.m. on Saturday evening. Subsequently, what happens? The two brothers are based out in Delhi at 1:17 a.m. in the thick of the night. Merely a couple of hours after that, they boarded a flight of Indigo at 5:25 a.m. in the morning and landed there, all the way in Phuket. It was much closer for them to come to Goa and join the investigation, as they are now going to the Rohini court and claiming that they want to be part of the investigation. But instead, ladies and gentlemen, they say that they had some important work, following which they decided that it was perhaps advisable for them to fly all the way down there to Phuket, but not to Goa. Shambhavi, these are some very strong questions that were raised by the ASG also in the court, and some questions that the Lutra brothers have had to answer in the court. Whether or not this will convince the judges is something remains to be seen, but the timeline will be a huge factor of consideration, Shambhavi, in the bail hearing.
Definitely, the time when the fire actually broke, and then the time at which they booked the ticket, then the time they took the flight and reached, and then released a very templated condolences message on his Instagram. And then there were several points. Now let me also tell our viewers here, Krutarth, that there were some points raised by the Lutra brothers and in this hearing. What they're saying is, we are just asking for this transitory anticipatory bail. We are not fighting, or we are not arguing on the merits of the case. If you just provide me some protection, I will be back. I was even ready to come back to India yesterday night as well, when the arguments were going on. Then another point, they're saying that I have set up my restaurant. I'm setting up my restaurant in Phuket, and I will be employing Indians in that restaurant. Is that something that I should be lynched for? Because they've made this very strong point that if you want me to come back to India, I will come back to India. I am ready to face the court. But if I'll come back to India, I will be lynched. My properties will be set ablaze. They're saying that their life is in danger. Another point that they've raised is that Saurav is epileptic and Gaurav has some neuro issues, and that they went above and beyond to make sure that all the documents are provided for the aid of the investigation. So now they're defending their actions. They're not taking any accountability for this unfortunate accident that happened at the club, and they are constantly trying to prove their innocence by saying that we went above and beyond just to make sure that the authorities have all the required documents in this case. Another thing that they're actually saying, that because Saurav is epileptic and he's more prone to have seizures, such stressful environment just makes him more prone to have seizure, and that is basic science. So these are the grounds that today the Lutra brothers council have argued, to which even the council for the state of Goa has said that when you look at the timing, we are already constantly telling our viewers the timeline of this entire accident. And when you look at the time, the fire was somewhat around 11:20 to 11:30 p.m. Saturday night. And then around 1:17, that flight, 1:17 a.m., just a couple of hours after that fire, they booked a flight, and then they fled from India. And they're also saying that I ran like a rabbit, but I'm ready to come, I'm ready to face, give me protection and I will come. So that has been their constant point. Krutarth.
All right, thank you very much, Shambhavi, for bringing us those details. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the big breaking news development coming in at 5 p.m. this evening. We'll have the answer on the anticipatory bail for the Lutra brothers. In the interim, let me bring you a report coming in from the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, where J&K Police, SOG and the BSF together in the Samba International Border Sector are conducting thick combing drives along the international border to prevent any infiltration bid. The national security effort, ladies and gentlemen, is a 24/7, 365-day effort, and our forces are on it. Take a look.
Security forces have launched one of its mega operations as part of its winter strategy, and right now we are reporting from the woods of the Samba, where massive search operation is presently underway. As you see, the troops of the Special Operations Group of the Samba, they are carrying out this intensified searches in the deserts and the upper areas that has some riverine structures as well, and this is very close to the Indo-Pakistan international border, where these intensified searches are taking place. What they are doing, they are carrying out the searches to ensure that the security forces, they are able to scan everything, because this entire area, the 360-degree view that you see, that this is a dense forest that is in the Samba district, and here it becomes really a major challenge for the security forces, that how they will storm through these forests so that it cannot be used by the adversary, it cannot be used by the enemies of the country, because this area has been a traditional route of infiltration. And now as we speak, you will see how they are carrying out the intensified operations, that they are looking into every nook and the corner, and once they reach some point, then they are ensuring that every threat from across the border is foiled. I'll request Ashu to tag along so that we can show you that how in these of the dense areas the security forces are carrying out these operations. Now that they have seen some movement, they have completely come to a standstill. Only when they see that this movement, this threat is neutralized or the threat is ruled out, only then they will move out. So tactically in the woods of the Samba, the Special Operation Group is moving. They are moving so that they can rule out the threat of the drone dropping, because see, these are the dense areas, and in these dense areas, what the terrorists do, that they locate some coordinates and then they drop the consignment into the Indian territory. But now what is happening, that here the intensified operations are underway.
Well, that's the latest coming in from the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, ladies and gentlemen, where our forces are continuing to remain very vigilant along the infiltration points along the international border. In the interim, let me also bring you all the latest updates that we are tracking for you from across the country. This is Bharat in 2 minutes. A massive fire broke out at the irrigation factory in Jalgaon's MIDC area. Officials confirmed that the blaze, which spread rapidly due to plastic materials, has been brought under control with no casualties reported. 3 people dead, 13 injured in a collision between a car and a tractor near Ayodhya. 4 injured patients admitted in hospital are in stable condition. The victims belong to Madhya Pradesh's Rewa district. Two police officers who were suspended for alleged negligence in the investigation into last year's Pune Porsche crash case have been dismissed from service. A Porsche car allegedly driven by a 17-year-old boy in an inebriated condition had fatally run over 2 techies on a motorcycle in Pune last year. A major fire broke out at a 6-story commercial building and the offices of SBI after continuous efforts of nearly 24 hours. The firefighters, NDRF and SDRF teams, assisted by teams from the Guwahati refinery, doused the flames and brought the situation under control. No casualties have been reported so far. A fire erupted at a multi-story building in Sadar Bazaar, prompting response from Delhi Fire Services. The blaze swept through storage units of polythene and plastic bags. Firefighters dispatched multiple water tenders, eventually controlling the flames. Authorities confirmed that no casualties or injuries have been reported, but the cause of the fire is still under investigation. In the interim, ladies and gentlemen, India's humanitarian mission in Sri Lanka after Cyclone Ditwa has now entered a decisive phase. The Indian Army's medical teams operating under Operation Sagar Bandhu have treated more than 5,000 patients in just 48 hours. Lieutenant Colonel Jagneet Gill, contingent commander of the Indian Army team deployed in Sri Lanka, is underscoring this collaborative nature of the mission, and he has shared the commitment of both our nations to work together in the time of crisis. Let's take a look at that detailed report of Operation Sagar Bandhu.
The first 48 hours after Cyclone Ditwa caused destruction in Sri Lanka, Indian Army treated more than 5,000 patients. India's relief effort in Sri Lanka following Cyclone Ditwa has moved into a critical stage now. Under Operation Sagar Bandhu, the Indian Army's medical contingent has already provided care to multiple people who were left injured. The Indian Army contingent, led by Lieutenant Colonel Jagneet Gill, set up a fully equipped mobile hospital in the flood-ravaged district of Trincomalee.
Well, the key facilities that were established by this hospital really depended on the fact that what were the facilities that were already available in this hospital. So the other hospital which has been non-functional, we were basically looking at facilities like the operation theatre, the dental section, the X-ray and the lab facilities. So we have been able to create these facilities. Other than that, we have also been able to create OPDs, which was the hour of the need. So we have been able to create the surgical OPD, the ortho OPD, the dental OPD, as well as family OPD. So we've been able to provide assistance to almost around 5,000, more than 5,000 patients.
The team's priority was to bring immediate, life-saving care to those cut off by the floods, as per Lieutenant Colonel Gill.
Well, the new age technology that we had deployed this time was that we had surveillance drones, which were very, very important to find the layout of the hospital and really helped us to establish it much faster. The other was the HVAC tents, which were deployed to create OT in a minimum time. And also, since the layout of the hospital required us that the labs and the facilities for blood collection were far apart, so we could actually use the logistic drones to carry out lab samples and blood samples to the labs, and we could actually enhance our speed and we could get results much faster.
Within 24 hours, the team upgraded a previously non-functional healthcare center. The Indian Army installed an operational theatre, digital X-ray and a fully stocked laboratory in the health center. In addition, they opened OPDs for surgery, dentistry and family health, ensuring a comprehensive package of care. This came as major boost and upgrade to the existing medical infrastructure in Sri Lanka. Cyclone Ditwa made landfall on the eastern coast on 28 November, dumping more than 500 mm of rain in 48 hours. The resulting floods submerged 1.1 million hectares, which is roughly 20% of the island's landmass. 2.3 million people were directly exposed to waterborne hazards. The destruction was immense. $720,000 buildings were inundated, including 243 health facilities and hundreds of schools. In addition to the medical push, India dispatched 4 more naval vessels to deliver essential relief supplies. Food, water, medicines and shelter kits were provided. The vessels have also provided logistical support for the evacuation of vulnerable civilians.
And as the Parliament debates continue, ladies and gentlemen, a new controversy has erupted on e-cigarettes being used by an alleged TMC MP on campus. The BJP is now raking up the issue, and when we come right back after this very short break, we'll bring you more details. Do not go anywhere. Republic is live and breaking.
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है? अरे मेरे राजा, राजा और प्योर मसाला।
दादी के हाथों का जादू और खुशबू से महकता घर, माँ की मुस्कुराहट और खाने की सुगंध। MDH गरम मसाला,
क्योंकि हर रिश्ता है स्वाद से जुड़ा।
भाई मेरा बेटी को प्यार चाहिए, प्यार। मेरा बेटी का ब्लड आ रहा, ब्लड नीचे से ब्लड।
MDH की हल्दी मिर्ची धनिया करे कमाल, ये रंग दे, ये खुशबू दे, ये तीखा, ये कम पड़े। क्या निराला MDH मसाला।
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
आर प्योर शाही पनीर मसाला, डिलीशियस, हेल्दी एवरीडे।
It's the end game for the Lutra brothers duo detained in Thailand by the Royal Thai Police. First pictures only on Republic. Passport suspended, duo detained. Lutra brothers' deportation process has been initiated in Thailand. Delhi court reserves order in the interim bail plea for the Lutra brothers, order to be pronounced at 5 p.m.
देश भर में ई सिगरेट बैन हो चुकी है। क्या सदन में आपने अलाउ कर दी है?
नहीं, कोई माननीय सदस्य को कोई भी
सर, टीएमसी के सांसद पी रहे हैं सर। सर, टीएमसी के सांसद सर कई दिनों से लगातार बैठ के पी रहे हैं सर।
Amid winter session, e-cigarette scandal breaks out inside the parliament. BJP MP Anurag Thakur accuses TMC MP of smoking an e-cigarette within the Lok Sabha compound. US delegation arrives at the Ministry of Commerce and Industry amid stalled trade negotiations. Progress expected.
Breaking news coming in on the big controversy on the lamp lighting verdict. There are people who are taking a very strong stand. You heard the Home Minister Amit Shah in Parliament talking about how opposition parties, by bringing in the impeachment motion, had shown that they preferred vote banks than standing for justice for Hindus. And now Mohan Bhagwat, RSS chief, has spoken about it, speaking about Hindu awakening in reference with the lamp lighting controversy. Mohan Bhagwat, let's cut across live.
If it needs escalation, it will be done. But I don't think it needs so. The matter is now sub judice. Let it resolve. The awakening of Hindus in Tamil Nadu, I think it is enough to bring about the desired result. But if at all it is needed, the Hindu organizations are working in Tamil Nadu also. They will let us know, then we will think about it. But at present, I think the issue can be resolved here only on basis of the Hindus' strength in Tamil Nadu only. If it needs escalation, it will be done. But I don't think it needs so. The matter is now sub judice. Let it resolve. The awakening of Hindus in Tamil Nadu, I think it is enough to bring about the desired result. But if at all it is needed, the Hindu organizations are working in Tamil Nadu also. They will let us know, then we will think about it. But at present, I think The issue can be resolved here only on basis of the Hindus' strength in Tamil Nadu only.
Sharda is joining us live. In fact, Sharda is at the hill. She's at the foothills of the Thiruparankundram, and I'm going across to her. She's in Madurai. Sharda, we understand that then ASI survey is ongoing, but the story is becoming national. It's no more about Tamil Nadu. It's a national story with different political parties taking sides. RSS chief also saying awakening of Hindus is enough for desired results. Ahead of elections, these are big statements.
Very true, Niranjan. Now, Tamil Nadu, the Thiruparankundram River has become huge because there's been continuous legal battles between the ruling government, DMK, and also the Hindu political front, which includes the BJP, ADMK, and the Hindu Munnani Makkal Party, which has been fighting to light the lamp in Thiruparankundram. It's been over 10 days since the fight has been continuing, and the Section 144 was imposed in the hill. But now, even after the judges asked for the 144 to be removed, the government continues to make sure that the people are not let on top of the hill to go to the Kasi Vishwanath temple or even the Dargah, for the matter of fact. And also now, with the elections coming, it's more the political battle than a legal battle that's been fought, because it seems like the DMK is looking forward for the minority appeasement. It's making sure that the Muslims are favored more than the Hindus, and this is what the BJP and the AIADMK claims. And with the DMK moving forward with an impeachment policy against Judge G.R. Swaminathan, who gave the order that the lamp can be lit on the top of the hill, we can also see that this impeachment motion comes at a time when the order did not come in favor of the DMK. With multiple voices that we heard today from the residents here, the petitioners, the lawyers, and also political leaders who have been fighting for this for years, continue to state that the people in the Thiruparankundram continue to live harmoniously, but it is the state government that's trying to create an issue by especially a communal break in the communal harmony is what the DMK is aiming at, is what the residents are telling us.
Mohan Bhagwat, the RSS chief, speaking on the lamp lighting controversy and an awakening of Hindus. Critical statement ahead of the elections in Tamil Nadu.
If it needs escalation, it will be done. But I don't think it needs so. The matter is now sub judice. Let it resolve. The awakening of Hindus in Tamil Nadu, I think it is enough to bring about the desired result. But if at all it is needed, the Hindu organizations are working in Tamil Nadu also. They will let us know, then we will think about it. But at present, I think the issue can be resolved here only on basis of the Hindus' strength in Tamil Nadu only.
The story became national the moment DMK and its allies, Congress included, decided to move an impeachment motion. 107 MPs signed the impeachment motion and went to the Speaker and presented a letter. This was 2 days ago. And today it's become a national controversy. In the Parliament last evening, Union Home Minister Amit Shah raised the controversy, talking about, and his reference was to how opposition parties, while backing intruders on one hand, have started opposing Hindus and anything that is seen as pro-Hindu. They were opposing a judge simply because he allowed lamp lighting on that hill in Madurai. Here's what Amit Shah said in Parliament.
कोई जज आजादी के इतने साल में नहीं हुआ है मान्यवर कि कोई जज एक जजमेंट दे तो जज के खिलाफ इंपीचमेंट लेकर आते हैं। अपनी वोट बैंक को एड्रेस करने के लिए इंपीचमेंट लेकर आते हैं मान्यवर। और ये सारे ने तो साइन कर दिया, साथ ही साथ उद्धव जी ने भी साइन कर दिया। उद्धव जी, जजमेंट क्या है? एक पहाड़ी पर मान्यता है कि हाँ सबसे ऊपर दिया जलाया जाए। मान्यवर, ये वोट बैंक को संभालने के लिए एक हाईकोर्ट के जज के सामने इंपीचमेंट लेकर आए हैं। देश की जनता उनको मदद नहीं करे।
story, ladies and gentlemen. We're getting in more pictures right now. Breaking story here on Republic after the Goa club fire where 25 lives were lost. The Lutra brothers who fled India and moved to Thailand. They're getting in more pictures from Phuket of the immigration center. And we are expecting that in a short while from now, the Lutra brothers will be moved from that immigration center. They are likely to be brought back to India in a few hours. The Indian agencies will seek custody and will seek to take a handover from Thai authorities and the police. Let me go, and the immigration, of course, department in Thailand. Let me go across to Swarali, joining us with the details. Swarali.
Yes, that's true. Let me tell you right now, the Lutra brothers are in custody of Royal Thai Police in the immigration center of Thailand. And further, the process and the procedure to deport Lutra brothers back to India has started. They are being interrogated and the documents are being verified. This is the latest information we are gathering in from the immigration center that is in Thailand. As we know that this is a question of two countries. They are supposed to be deported back to India. So all the angles will be explored.
Fire tragedy back so all the and we might get information soon that when in how many hours or in how many days will the major perpetrators of Goa fire tragedy be bring back to India.
I'm staying with this video. There's a new video that's come in, another video that's come in from Phuket of the detention center. This is the immigration detention center where the brothers, the Lutra brothers, Saurabh Lutra, Gaurav Lutra, are being held by the immigration authorities. We should be able to get you more details now. Whether they will be moved out and moved back to India today or tomorrow, it's a question of time and about when they will be moved out. But for the moment, they are being held in this high security area and they fled India hours after the fire. 5:25 a.m. flight, a few hours after they booked the ticket following the fire that broke out at the Birch Club. We're getting in some more details. One of the owners, there's two of the owners who are in Phuket who have been tracked down, who have been detained, but the third owner, Ajay Gupta is in the court. He was in the Goa court, presented, and we questioned him, asked him a few questions. This is him. Let's try and play that out. Right. We're going to play the full sequence. Can we play the sequence, please, of us asking the questions to Ajay Gupta? Ajay Gupta tried to speak there. In fact, Ajay Gupta had in the last few days after his arrest tried to tell the media that he's only a sleeping partner. He had no active role in the operations of the Birch nightclub. Let's listen in.
Sir, एक statement, sir.
I am sad for what has happened. I'm not a demon. I am sad for what has happened, but I didn't do it. I didn't do it.
अजय गुप्ता क्या कहना चाहते हो? अजय गुप्ता.
But sir, लेकिन आपकी लापरवाही से 25 लोगों की जान गई है. आप नहीं मानते हैं सर?
I am a sleeping partner. I have no role in operations.
Sir, एक statement, sir.
I am sad for what has happened. I'm not a demon. I am sad for what has happened, but I didn't do it. I didn't do it.
अजय गुप्ता क्या कहना चाहते हो? अजय गुप्ता.
But sir, लेकिन आपकी लापरवाही से 25 लोगों की जान गई है. आप नहीं मानते हैं सर?
I am a sleeping partner. I have no role in operations.
Co-owner outside the court saying he's a sleeping partner, had no role whatsoever. Okay, the court has reserved the order. Meanwhile, the Lutra brothers had moved court, saying that they will only return if there is assurance, a surety of sorts from the court, and the court will dictate the order on the Lutra brothers at 5 p.m. today. So we will wait for that order. They had sought anticipatory bail from the Delhi court, and the Delhi court has heard them out. Siddharth Lutra, senior advocate, has been fighting, or rather arguing, for these two brothers, Saurabh and Gaurav Lutra, who you see there. And those are pictures of them after the detention this morning. Court will deliver its order at 5 p.m. this evening. I'm going across now to Shambhavi. Shambhavi joining us with details of what happened in court. They maintained that they were there on work. Obviously, they were not on work because you look at the timeline. 11 o'clock fire breaks out, 1 o'clock they book the ticket, 5 a.m. they've taken off. So it's clear, the timing is clear, it matches, there's no work. Nobody books a ticket if you have work at 1 a.m., 1:17 in the morning to be precise. Audio. Okay, I'm just getting you. I just lost your audio there, Shambhavi. Maybe your mic is off. Let me just bring back your audio there. But this is the timeline. Fire breaks out at 11 p.m. So 11 p.m. the fire breakout happens, and then at 1:17 a.m. they booked the flight using a portal, Make My Trip portal. That was at 1:17 a.m. And at 5:25 the flight took off from Delhi. They fled Delhi and they landed in Phuket. So that's the timeline of how they planned their escape. But in court they claim that they were there on work. Let me see if Shambhavi is back. I'll try and go across to her. Meanwhile, this is the Interpol blue corner notice issued against both the brothers Saurabh Lutra and his brother Gaurav. And in the Interpol notice talking about giving out the full details of these two brothers. This was given out before, of course, they were detained. 1981 born, Gaurav Lutra, passport, date of issue, expiry date, the date the passport itself was procured from Delhi. As per the particulars, 1981 born Gaurav Lutra was detained today in Phuket. Shambhavi is live now. Shambhavi, what did they claim in court, and how has the Goa government exposed their claims today?
See, this timeline issue is the main thing that has been argued today in the court. And apart from this, one thing is sure, that nobody is ready to take accountability in this case. Be it the third partner who claimed that he is a sleeping partner, so he has zero accountability in this entire matter. And these Lutra brothers, the counsel for these Lutra brothers have claimed in the court that again and again, even yesterday and today itself, they maintained that they are just the license holders and that they don't look after the operational day-to-day operations of all the properties. And even the petition that they filed, they said that they have around 27 properties all across India, and it is not possible for them to make.
Have you been to Goa once or twice? So they are not the ones to be blamed.
Not the ones to be blamed. This was a very strong point which was raised on their end, to which again the counsel for the state of Goa has said that them saying that they fled, they did not flee from the country, they indeed went on some kind of professional engagement, and they said that we were looking at prospective properties there because they're planning to open a restaurant back in Phuket. But the timing of it, as you very rightly pointed out, is a little too convenient for us to believe this theory, given that the fire was around 11:15 to 11:30 p.m. on Saturday, and the flight was booked in the middle of the night at around 1:15 p.m., 1:15 a.m. and then they flee from India. So this was the main argument which was made from the council of the state of Goa. And now that the court has heard both the parties, there has been rebuttal from both ends. The order has been reserved, and we'll see at 5 p.m. today in which direction does the court decide. Does the court accept and give anticipatory bail for 4 weeks or for whatever time span it deems fit, or it rejects the back?
Okay. Lost the line there. We'll take a short break right now, ladies and gentlemen, and get you some top stories from across the country. Let's get you the top stories on Bharat in 2 on Republic. Okay, so a massive fire broke out at a factory in Jalgaon, Maharashtra. This was at the irrigation factory in the MIDC area. The blaze spread rapidly due to plastic materials that were stored. It's now been brought under control. No casualties were reported. Three people died, 13 were injured following a collision between a car and a tractor near Ayodhya. 4 injured patients were admitted to a hospital, are now in stable conditions. The victims belong to Madhya Pradesh's Rewa district. 2 policemen who were suspended for alleged negligence in the investigation into last year's Porsche car crash have been dismissed from service. A Porsche car allegedly driven by a 17-year-old boy who was drunk at the wheel had fatally run over 2 techies on a motorcycle in Pune last year. A fire broke out at a 6-story commercial building in the offices of SBI after continuous efforts for nearly 24 hours. The firefighters, NDRF, SDRF, assisted by teams from the Guwahati refinery, doused the flames, brought the situation under control. Fire reported at a multi-story building in Sadar Bazaar in the national capital, prompting response from the Delhi Fire Service. The blaze swept through storage units for polythene and plastic bottles. Firefighters were dispatched, multiple water tenders eventually controlling the flames. Authorities confirmed that no casualties or injuries were reported. Getting in some breaking news now on the Election Commission. The Election Commission has extended the SIR period in 6 states. Initial details coming in. SIR period extended in 6 states including in Uttar Pradesh. The SIR period has been extended in Tamil Nadu, Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh and Andaman and Nicobar Islands. News update coming in. The deadline has been extended so that people get more time to complete their formalities. This includes once again Tamil Nadu, Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Uttar Pradesh, Andaman and Nicobar Islands. India's humanitarian mission in Sri Lanka after Cyclone Ditwa has entered a decisive phase. The Indian Army's medical teams, which are operating in Sri Lanka under Operation Sagar Bandhu, have treated over 5,000 patients in just the first 48 hours. Lieutenant Colonel Jagneet Gill, contingent commander of the Indian Army teams deployed in Sri Lanka, has underscored the collaborative nature of this mission. Here are some pictures and the report that came in from Sri Lanka.
The first 48 hours after Cyclone Ditwa caused destruction in Sri Lanka, Indian Army treated more than 5,000 patients. India's relief effort in Sri Lanka following Cyclone Ditwa has moved into a critical stage now. Under Operation Sagar Bandhu, the Indian Army's medical contingent has already provided care to multiple people who were left injured. The Indian Army contingent, led by Lieutenant Colonel Jagneet Gill, set up a fully equipped mobile hospital in the flood-ravaged district of Trincomalee.
Well, the key facilities that were established by this hospital really depended on the fact that what were the facilities that were already available in this hospital. So the other hospital which has been non-functional, we were basically looking at facilities like the operation theatre, the dental section, the X-ray and the lab facilities. So we have been able to create these facilities. Other than that, we have also been able to create OPDs, which was the hour of the need. So we have been able to create the surgical OPD, the ortho OPD, the dental OPD, as well as family OPD. So we've been able to provide assistance to almost around 5,000, more than 5,000 patients.
The team's priority was to bring immediate, life-saving care to those cut off by the floods, as per Lieutenant Colonel Gill.
When the new age technology that we had employed this time was that we had surveillance drones which were very, very important to find the layout of the hospital and really helped us to establish it much faster. The other was the HVAC tents which were deployed to create OT in a minimum time. And also, since the layout of the hospital required us that the labs and the facilities for blood collection were far apart, so we could actually use the logistic drones to carry out lab samples and blood samples to the labs, and we could actually enhance our speed and we could get results much faster.
Within 24 hours, the team upgraded a previously non-functional healthcare center. The Indian Army installed an operational theatre, digital X-ray and a fully stocked laboratory in the health center. In addition, they opened OPDs for surgery, dentistry and family health, ensuring a comprehensive package of care. This came as major boost and upgrade to the existing medical infrastructure in Sri Lanka. Cyclone Ditwa made landfall on the eastern coast on 28 November, dumping more than 500 mm of rain in 48 hours. The resulting floods submerged 1.1 million hectares, which is roughly 20% of the island's landmass. 2.3 million people were directly exposed to waterborne hazards. The destruction was immense. $720,000 buildings were inundated, including 243 health facilities and hundreds of schools. In addition to the medical push, India dispatched 4 more naval vessels to deliver essential relief supplies. Food, water, medicines, and shelter kits were provided. The vessels have also provided logistical support for the evacuation of vulnerable civilians.